Hi, Eva. We're not live. Ready to go live. Yes, we are live. Amazing. Hi, David. Hi, Marcy. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I am so excited to have you for this Thursday interview because we've been talking about this forever. I don't know, since the first time we spoke and you came to our, oh, by the way, before I forget, we have to thank Sarah. I don't know if she's going to join us today, but we have to thank Sarah. So Sarah, if you're joining us, we'll tell you again, we'll repeat that. Thank you so much for making the introduction. David came actually to our business networking group a few weeks ago. And, since then we've been talking and I said, yes, guys, I love what you do, guys. I want to get you on the Born to Do business community Facebook group interview because I want to share this with a lot of people. So a lot of people know what you do and see how we can help each other because that's why we're here. So I see that a lot of people are joining us. So please type in the chat who you are, what's your name, where you come from. Good morning, and I'm going to look at my screen here because, as you know, on my StreamYard tool, I don't see the names of the people, so I just need to look at the other screen. How are you doing, guys?
We're excited to be here. This is great.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Fiona is here with us. Good morning, Fiona. Who else do we have? We have Rivka who is here with us. Amazing. Good morning, Rivka. So keep on typing your name, say where you are from, say this is the first time that you're joining our community, and be ready for an amazing interview. So I'm going to start because some of you might not know who are David and Marcy. So I'm going to start by reading their bio so we know who you are, and then we're going to dive in the interview. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. So David Israel Eskenazi is the founder of Aliyah Network. After 7 years of living in Israel, David envisioned a possible future for Am Israel, which is the Jewish people, for those of you who don't speak Hebrew, and decided to take steps towards the goal of aiding in global Aliyah. He comes from a business development background in high-tech software security automation tooling. Amazing. Wow. Marcy Eskenazi is the co-founder of Aliyah Network. After 6 years of entrepreneurship and having grown her own successful business, Marcy became the co-founder of the Aliyah Network. She's now focusing most of her attention on strategic planning and project management. Wow. I'm telling you guys, when we hear what you do, we're like, how come no one thought about it before? We hear Aliyah Network, we're like, but of course, this is so obvious. Like, why? So the first question I want to ask, and like I said, you decide who wants to answer because, you're both here and I want to hear from both of you. But I think I'm going to start with David for this one. Mm-hmm. I want to know how it all started. Like, what is the beginning? Where were you? Were you in your shower? Were you driving? Like, take us back to that moment where you had this aha moment, like, of course, I have to build an Aliyah network and I'll tell you why I'm asking this question, because a lot of people here are either entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs or have ideas. And sometimes they don't know when the idea comes. Sometimes they're not sure about their idea. So it's always good to go back and to really see like how the idea comes, when it comes, and maybe we don't recognize it. So take us back to the beginning. How did it all happen?
Sure. But it's a funny thing because I also think of it as an unfolding. It wasn't like something that sort of happened all at once, but it was one thing that led to another thing, which led to another thing. And at a certain point, I was like, yeah, why haven't anybody done this before? But I could talk about how it started. We were visiting Seattle for Hanukkah last year, and there's just a lot of people there that I knew that hadn't seen me in many years. And this was our first trip to America since we made Aliyah. And they were asking a lot of questions about either going to New York or going to Israel. And we had family day trips planned. We were going to the mountains. We were doing things. And it was like after tefillah in the morning, after prayers in the morning, I just didn't have time. Right. And it frustrated me because I just knew that there are literally thousands and thousands of people that if they knew how this person has a need to know certain things, that if they were just theoretically together, so then we'd be able to help them out. And that's really sort of just the original thought. And from there, when we came back to Israel, our community was looking to get some funding for the synagogue that we're part of, and I just brought it up. I said, why don't we just, instead of just fundraising just straight, let's just open our entire community and then say to a donor, hey, instead of just helping us, we can open up an entire community to you.
Right. Wow. So I love this because this is exactly how the best ideas are born, because this is organic, right? This is like from the need of the people, right? It's not you sitting in your living room and thinking, oh, what can I do? It's really you feeling the need, hearing the pain points, hearing what people really are looking for, and then trying to be creative and finding a way. And like you said, it's never a aha moment, right? It's always unfolding. That's why I said aha moment, because people think they're going to see the light. But you do see the light, but you see it progressively, or you see it a little bit there and a little bit there, and sometimes it goes up and down, right?
To the extent that some of the later layers of unfolding are so obvious by the time you get there, that you wonder, how did you never consider such a thing? But it was something I myself couldn't see until I was up against that wall, so to speak.
That's true. And that's also the alignment, right? The more you're aligned with your idea, the more you see things, the more you talk to people. And so, Marcy, I want to ask you a question about the people there, because you were with David, you had this trip to Seattle, you saw your family, your friends. And I want to know, because we hear about that, but until we hear it from their mouth, meaning like from the real people that are there, I want you to tell me, what did you see or hear that they really need, or what are they going through? Like, what's difficult for them? What's a challenge? What did you hear that, for the people that live there, the Jewish people that live in the States, and in your case, it was Seattle, but I'm sure what you're going to say is, representative of a lot of people in the Jewish communities in the US. So what did you feel that were really their pain points, or what was a challenge for them? Can you share with us?
I think it's hard to take that plunge to make Aliyah, just to make a major change in your life. And people are scared to do it. They want that comfort. They want to know somebody's there. They just want to hear it from somebody else who did it. They want to hear a success story. They even want to hear a failure story. They want to know what to expect. And they want to hear something real. They just were craving some real personal one-on-one, please tell me, how was it? Now, as David said, it was after prayer, and there were times I was waiting for him back home, and he'd come back like 45 minutes late. I'm sorry, I got caught up, this person or that person. He's like, they just have so many questions. I wish I had more time, or I know there's somebody who could answer these questions if only we could connect them. So people want the connection, and they need the connection.
Yeah. I think that what you're saying is so interesting, because people would say, well, just go on the Nefesh B'Nefesh website, or just go on Facebook, or just go, just. But I think what you're saying is really the human connection. I think that's the difference because yes, you have information. Yes, information is available. Yes, I see webinars and I see, information and groups. And yes, your internet is global. You can go on the internet from wherever you are. I'm sure from Seattle, you can go on Facebook groups, right? But I think what you're saying here is that what they were seeing is a human person. It's like a human person who actually did it and actually made the plunge and has the connection. And even if they can go on Facebook and have those virtual connections, which we all love. I mean, listen, we're on Facebook, we're on a virtual connection, so we love it. But what you're saying here is that they need this testimonial, this really human story that only a person can tell. And so let's go back to your Aliyah. And David, that's a question for you. How was it 7 years ago? Because you said that you made Aliyah 7 years ago. So where were you in the States? What were you doing? Where were you? What was your life like? And why do you pick up and go and just, and by the way, guys, I'm asking questions, but if you're here on the live and you want to ask questions to David or Marcy, please type in the chat, because I know that those stories are so, really close to our hearts. We either have our own Aliyah story, or we have other people that are back, back home or back in the country we come from. And it's always, it's something that's really close to our hearts. So please type in the chat if you have your own Aliyah story, or if you know people that are also in the States or in another country and that are also looking for answers, because that is the time now to really connect. So David, what happened 7 years ago? You woke up one day and you say, let's go down a plane and, take the whole family?
Something like that.
So
okay.
It was pretty accurate. What happened was that I grew up in Seattle, not religious, the only Jew in the school, singing Hanukkah songs during the Christmas carols and things like that. And found, over the course of my life, I ended up going to yeshiva in New York and changing my whole life around Judaism and becoming shomer mitzvot, keeping the commandments and things like that. And Marcy and I took a pilot trip to Israel. I think it was like 3 years before we made Aliyah or something like that. And I was in the middle of prayer, and I noticed that the middle brachot, the middle blessings in the tefillah lead up to this crescendo of Shema Kolenu, that you know, and so much of our tefillot, of our prayers, is to come back to the land of Israel. And I thought to myself, how can I do this? How can I stand and not make this happen? And Marcy's always said the future of Am Yisrael, the future of the Jewish people, is definitely in Israel. And our oldest was 9, Mazal Bracha. She was 9 years old, and I realized as she gets older, it's just going to get harder. And I was working on the garage, turning it into a room, and I realized if we do this, we do that, we do this, we can rent out this, rent out that, we might be able to make it work. And then in that moment, as I'm covered in dust from sanding the walls, I screamed up to Marcy and go, "Start the paperwork, honey." That was June. We were in Israel, August
28th.
August
No,
20th.
I can't believe this. What? How many kids did you have at the time?
We had 3 kids at the time. Now, we have been speaking about Aliyah for many years, but there are so many reasons not to do it. And you know, it really holds you back. But once you're ready to let go, you can just glide through it.
And if I may, I would like to share this with those who are considering Aliyah possibly. I know that maybe a lot of people, this is early morning in Israel, but I actually felt to some extent that we were there spiritually. And the experience of having ourselves in America while we were somewhere else, it was just an unbelievably uplifting time in our life. So something that was surprising.
Wow. So that is really like inspiration. It's like inspiration, vision, like seeing it, you know, and just, you know, following your intuition, following your spiritual, you know, calling, if I can say it like that, even though it sounds like, you know, a little big, but it sounds like it was. And is that what you say, Marcy, when people, if you meet people or, you know, through the Aliyah Network or when you were in Seattle or now that you speak to them, is that what you say to people? Like, what do you say when people say, yeah, but I'm scared, but, you know, I don't know, but it's so blah, 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 like all the, you know, the reasons that they have, probably, you know, the money and the job and the kids and the school. I mean, there's so many questions you need. So is that what you say to them? You say to them, connect to your intuition, or what do you say to them when people, you know, really face those challenges?
I definitely connect to my intuition, but it is an individual, you know, issue for each person. It's very personal. It's very different. And it's not just intuition, but it's also intellectual. It may not be right for everybody. And we do go through it. And I do tell them how I went through my experiences were the things that they were afraid to let go of. We go over it. Some of them, it's just fear, and it's just fear alone. And sometimes once you let go of that, you can do it.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing, because I love what you're saying. You know, a lot of people, when you live in Israel and they live abroad and you speak to them, they feel like they think, or they're afraid that you're going to try to convince them, right? You have to come, or you need to come, or how come you're there, you know, you're not here already. I know personally, and I love what you're saying because it resonates. I always say, you know, it's not for everybody, and it's not at every stage of your life. And also be careful, because there are considerations, right? You can't just jump on a plane. You need to also plan it, and you need to make sure that you'll have something when you land. And so I love that, because it's not just like the Zionist dream, everyone needs to come, whatever the situation is. So that's really very responsible of you, and very, you know, it's safe, you know, to say it like that, and then people trust you. So it's great. So you have this idea, you come back from Seattle, you said, that's it, we need to connect people together. People there have questions, people here have answers. How do we connect? So tell us now, David, what is the next step? You have this idea, you say, okay, go back to the synagogue, say, let's connect our communities, and then what happens? And then how is the Aliyah Network born, basically? So
what happened was the individual who called me to that meeting did something different. He actually wrote an article and sent it out to the community. And after speaking to me on the phone to go over what this thought was, and then it was so eloquently put together that I realized it already had an impact, just that letter alone, and something that I didn't expect. So when I saw that he did that, I was like, okay, I'm going to get 50 people myself.
Wow.
Right? I'm just going to call them up. And Marcy remembers what that was like for 2 weeks, trying to get people to sign up to a WhatsApp group. And
the people there, right? The people in the
people
US.
in Malaysia, probably people here.
In Israel to create a WhatsApp group in order to
get the data that we would need to be able to send to prospective Olim to how we might be able to help as a community.
I see. Okay, so it was really convincing people to commit to that project, to that idea, so that they would be able to help people that would have questions overseas.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's sort of how we got started. And then once that started to roll a little bit, we decided to open the Facebook group, and people were slowly, coming on. And I noticed that the tenor and the tone of the group was very positive. And I thought to myself, how, if we could just keep a straight path, then there's no telling what this might be able to do. And then Corona hit.
When was that? So was that in February or no, before? Yeah.
February.
Well, the idea started January.
2020, right? We're talking 2020.
2020, and we were actually called Kochav Israel at the time.
Okay.
And as we progressed, we felt we needed a more easy sounding name, something that can be easily Googled. You want Aliyah, and Aliyah Network should come up. So something a little bit easier to read. And
yeah, sounds good. And so Corona hits. And so what happens, Marcy? What happens when Corona hits?
Corona hit, and suddenly, well, David at first was saying to me, maybe this isn't going to work. I'm trying so hard. And believe me, we've tried, and we're pushing, and we're getting knocked down, and we're getting up again. And he said to me, I don't know, this Corona, and that's it. This might be over. I said to him, don't give up. I said, Corona, this might push it completely ahead. We might need the Aliyah Network more than ever. And that's what happened.
Visionary, Marcy. You look, you see, you have a crystal ball probably, and you look through the crystal ball. Amazing. So that's what happened, right? Because Corona means more people at home, means more people also asking questions about their lives, about the meaning of it all, about what are they doing, with their lives. And we've seen, I don't know if we have numbers, maybe you do. I don't know if we have concrete numbers, but we've seen a lot of people are more interested, right? Have you seen that since the Corona, David? Have you seen that more people are interested in Aliyah? Is that something that you can compare with before Corona and not after Corona, because we're not there yet, but during Corona? Do you see that there is an increase of requests or questions, or people are more looking into making that jump?
I can only say that the data shows that's the truth, because I wasn't looking at whether or not people were making more Aliyah in the past before I got involved in this. Okay. But there are people from around the world connecting with the Aliyah Network already, and there's no doubt that there's a connection one-to-one to what's happening with all the instability around the world, to consider Eretz Yisrael as a place to come on.
You know what I see, and it's always easier to see it when you take a step back and you look at it. And you've said you're inside, right? You're within, up and down. What I see is like the timing is not a coincidence, my friends.
Right.
It's a tapestry of events. It's a tapestry.
You're telling the story like, if you look back and you say, well, you started in January, Corona happens in February, interesting. And then, there's no coincidence, right? Like we know that. And so, yes, I can see, well, like everyone, when the Corona started, everyone was like, it's the end of the world. But then everyone reinvented themselves and everyone re-believed. And just like Marcy, you said, right, this is an opportunity, because this is exactly when people say, well, if I'm at home already online, I may as well be in Israel. Like, why am I sitting here? It doesn't make a difference, right? And we also know, so that's another question I wanted to ask you, because a lot of people talk about anti-Semitism in the US. More and more people are afraid, of things that are happening. So I don't know, is that fake news? Is that what people talk about? Is that exaggerated? Or do you feel also that there is a fear? I'm going to ask this question another way. I'm going to say, do you feel like people that want to come to Israel, is it more because of a dream or more because they're running away from danger? Like, what are the people that are, more contacting you for?
Is that something I can field, Marcy?
Go ahead.
I would say that from my perspective, it's going to sound a little out there, but I'm going to say it because we're trying to be as real as possible. I actually think that what we're seeing is there's a bigger orchestrator doing this, and that when that happens, so people have the opportunity to jump on that path, and so when you say, are more people considering it due to circumstances around the world, without a question, that's true, and it's something which is observable. It's a demonstrable fact. But I think that if people continue down a certain way of the past, which I don't think is always necessarily a good idea, so they lose out on the great opportunity of moving towards something as opposed to moving away from something. So the Aliyah Network has always been about never talking too much about the why, but the how. I feel like the times have changed with the U.S. elections and what that implies for Jews around the world and for Eretz Yisrael and for Aliyah in specific. That's a talk that we will be having, even though it seems to be breaking one of our rules. Because again, it's not about taboos and not having the conversation. It's about keeping the conversation truthful and peaceful. And in the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years, you see, like, whenever you talk politics or anything else, people just can't seem to keep it under the hood, so to speak. And it's our intention to show how, maybe we could do that. Maybe we can have a deep conversation. You know what I'm saying?
So I understand what you're saying. And I got, just want to make sure that everyone understands. So you had a rule not to talk about politics. Is that what you're saying? You had a rule not to get involved in politics. Obviously, everyone knows that we're in the middle of, the elections in the U.S. No one is hiding this. And so you're saying now that you do want to have that conversation with the people there, because that's probably all they can talk about right now. I mean, I'm sure that this is the center of this. So you're saying even though it's a rule for you not to take a position or not to take a stand, a political stand, you're still going to address the issue. That's what you're saying?
Something like that,
right.
Meaning that it's a conversation that is not, from our perspective, it's going to touch Aliyah. It's going to touch global Aliyah, and to not make predictions, but to sort of talk it out, to be able to make sure that we're doing what we can to plan for that. And we have to have our visionary caps on right now. Yeah. We have to look forward. So it's impossible not to have the conversation at this point, but to keep it again, one which is forward thinking.
Right. And also, I know this is my position, because people have asked me when things happened, with Black Lives Matters and, all the things that happen on a global level, people have said, how do you address this when you have an interview like this, or when you're, manage a community, like, do you take a stand? Don't you take a stand? For myself, as the leader of this community also, I always say to myself, I'm looking at how I can align with myself through those events. Like, I'm not a political expert. I'm not an expert on economy or global politics. That's not my job. But I do, feel that, yes, it's our responsibility to find how we can align with this, as a person, a human being, a woman, a Jew, a citizen, with all those different dimensions. And I think that if you're talking to Americans right now, I mean, I don't see how you can not talk about what's happening, but maybe more on a personal, aspect, a personal dimension. Like, what does it mean for you, and not necessarily on how are you going to change America, or how are you going to, make a, I don't think that this is why we're here for, at least, right? Is that what you're saying?
I think that Israel's got a very bright future. Yeah. And that there are different paths that we can choose. I don't think the human species has ever the ability to strip themselves from choice. That's my feeling. So it's never in the bag. You always have to do stuff, but I think that the opportunity to choose good choices and to see where that's headed, I'm extraordinarily excited about what I think is possible.
Amazing. Wow. Amazing. I mean, we can talk about this for hours. I love those topics, but I want to come back to Aliyah Network, and I want to come back to, if I am, a Jewish person out there in the world, and I want to make Aliyah, and I'm connecting with you. So from what we understand, we have a WhatsApp group that we can connect to. We have a Facebook group that we can connect to. There is a website. So Marcy, can you tell us more about the website? What does it do? And how can I, if I'm someone who wants to make Aliyah or thinking about it, How can I use, the services that you offer, or at least the information that you share? Tell us, like, what's going to happen when I go on the website?
So the website, which is www.aliyahnetwork.com, it's very unique. What it is, what we've created is a social media website similar to Facebook, where you could comment and post and create a group and blog, but it's all about Aliyah. It's a safe environment. It's a place where people who may not want to be on Facebook, they can feel more comfortable and safer and using the website. And it's an Aliyah-based website where it's not only for those who are making Aliyah, it's for people who've already made Aliyah and just want to offer support, answer questions, be there. We're letting those potential and future Olim know, we're letting them know that we are here. They're not alone. There is a family, a network waiting for them. And not only that, we also have service providers on the website. So you can get lots of information, headhunters, realtors, shipping, tour guides, and many others. Ulpanim have started on the website as well. There's just a lot of services on the website too, which is important because when you get here, you sometimes don't know where to begin.
And even from there, right? Even
from there before, right?
Yeah, because you can already, if you have a real estate, you spoke about a realtor, right? You can already, start looking for a house. Or if you have a headhunter, you can already start looking for a job, or, right? But this is so valuable information. And so you have, I'm guessing, a lot of people, a lot of service providers from Israel that are interested in helping you in that project. Like, how is the relationship with the service provider? What is the level of, contribution that you get? Are people interested, or do you have to look for them? Like, what is the response?
They're very interested. As they know, there are many people interested in making Aliyah, so they want to help. They want to offer their services. They want to get the word out.
If I could say also that what's also unique about what we're doing is some of those services can connect with other services that they wouldn't otherwise have connected to.
Right.
So it empowers everybody to be able to make their cord even stronger. And from what I could tell, that is when we started this, I didn't consider that. It was beyond what I was thinking, I would say. But now I'm seeing how that three-dimensional connectivity is just very, very powerful, very strong. And so the services definitely will, start to work for sure.
Amazing. So it's like what you were talking about, the win-win-win, right? Tell us more about that. Like, how is it a win-win-win for everyone?
Well, I think that is certainly going to be a win for the people living around the world, certainly in America for them. We're going to be offering all these services to them to be able to see this in a transparent sort of way. I want to go back to what the name of the group was originally, Kochav Yisrael, okay? Because Kochav Yisrael means Star of Israel. And the idea was I wanted everybody to be able to shine. I know it sounds funny, but it's the truth. Like stars. And I thought, like, if somebody could shine, somebody could really, what does that mean? It means they're visible. They could be seen from a distance. Somebody could see this great shining star and this person. She lives in Ashdod, and she helps out so many people. Let somebody find her and let her services speak for themselves. So it is very much like a kind of a free market, so to speak, when it comes to the services. And we want the site to be able to allow those services to sort of rise to the service, and communities too. So if Beit Shemesh is a place that is getting a lot of activities because the community members are doing a lot of videos and they're doing a lot of things to show what their communities can do, we'll be able to bring that up, so to speak, so people can find it. So that's what we were thinking.
Amazing. So I would love for people that are in the live to tell us, are you a potential service provider that you would like to, connect with the Aliyah Network, because you're offering maybe a service that can also help, Olim or potential Olim or people that are thinking of making Aliyah or coming to live in Israel. So type in the chat, because that's the time for you to really say, yes, I'm here. And of course, as we said, right, no coincidence. Corona, people are online, they can offer their services all over the world, right? And so all of a sudden, service providers who never have heard of Zoom, or maybe have never been on a Facebook group, now they have no choice. They have to go on Zoom, and they have to make business with people from all around the world. So if you are a service provider, and of course, David and Marcy will put all the links in the chat after the live, the link of the website, the link of the Facebook group. But I want you to type in the chat if you are a service provider and you would be interested in offering your services to people that are abroad. And I know a lot of business owners, have that, especially in Israel. We always say Israel is a small country. Whatever business you're in, you have a small target market. So, as a business coach, I'm already seeing all the potential connections. Just, you being able to build that bridge, basically, right? You're building that bridge so that people can talk to each other. And the win-win is just the people overseas get the service they need, and the business owners here get to also share their services with more people. Yeah, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. I was going to say that there is a challenge, though, that we've been facing, and I think now is an apropos time to bring it up, and that is that for the website, for a new web network, I kind of think of it as like a machine that has gasoline in it, and just the key needs to be turned. It has to be turned on, right? So the user activity, when the website, I say when because I feel very confident about this, but when the website becomes a user activity based sort of a community, that's when the magic really happens. And to get to that point, Marcy and I, this is not what we, I was in business development. My wife was involved in beauty and makeup and stuff like that. We're learning as we go. But the fact is that those opportunities are really right there for the taking.
Yes. And what's amazing, and whenever we have a business idea, and I can tell you this from hundreds of people that I've worked with that started with a business idea, it's always when the market tells you that the market is ready, that it's the right time to do it. And so whatever experience you have or you don't have, or knowledge or expertise, forget about all this. The timing is right. Your vision is right. Your intentions are right. You're aligned with, doing good with, with people that need your services. The rest is details. I'm telling you.
Can I say on that point that,
sure.
And Marcy would be able to say the same thing, is one of the most incredible parts of this entire journey is the wonderful blessing that we feel to be able to be in a position to do just this. It's something I would never have dreamed on ever. And the fact is that I know that not only we have this ability, but so many other people are also going to have the same ability. That really is what gets me sparked up.
That's amazing. And the spark is what makes the success. So it's exactly that. So we have Fiona, who says, most certainly, I will connect with you both later. So you want to be connected with Fiona. You do want to be connected. I'm telling you, Fiona is the right person to be connected with. My partners and I are providing full services for expats and diplomats under the auspices of the Ambassadors Club of Israel. So not necessarily with the ideological reason to be here, but certainly needing knowledge of the practical and cultural Israel. You see? You never know where it unfolds. So thank you, Fiona. And we have, I'm just looking for the name, Arnie. Yay! We have Arnie. Happy to provide a service for anyone interested in donating tzedakah money more efficiently and effectively. Also happy to help pro bono, looking at resumes and guiding Olim in employment.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's huge, Arnie.
Wonderful.
We love it.
That is a major obstacle for those coming to Israel. It's employment and their resumes. So thank you, Arnie.
And we know Arnie from the community, and you've met him at the, Born to Do Business Network, and just so generous, like pro bono. Who does that? It's amazing. Thank you so much, Arnie. It's amazing. I know so many people that just need someone to look at their resumes, but people, ask money for this. So Arnie, this is really very generous. And Fiona is saying, you're a very special couple and a beautiful partnership. Your heart and souls shine through. Wow, that's so amazing. Thank you, Fiona. I love this is really amazing. So I want to end this with the next event that you have coming up. You have on Sunday at 8 p.m. Israel time, 1 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m., right? 10 a.m. Angeles time. So Marcy, can you tell us more about that event that's coming up on Sunday? Because I think that this is a great way to be introduced to the Aliyah Network and to see it live, to see it happening. Tell us more.
So every Sunday night we do have a Aliyah lecture Zoom session. This week we will be discussing the U.S. election and how it will affect Israel Jews and future Aliyah. So every Sunday we do have another topic, and we would love for everyone to join.
But the specific event that I think we were alluding to has not been hammered out yet, but I'm happy to bring it up. It's going to be closer to Hanukkah, and it's going to be an Aliyah inspiration event. Now, it's going to be musicians, and we're going to be dancing in Zoom. We're going to have music. We're going to have speakers, and it's all about the forward look. It's all about painting a future picture and just rolling with it.
Amazing. So again, this is where you're going to put all the links right in the chat. Whoever watching now or later, if you want to connect with the Aliyah Network, with David, with Marcy, what you do is you put your email in the chat, and then they will take your email and send you an invitation to connect, send you all the information for the event on Sunday and the event on Hanukkah, which sounds like a lot of fun. And it's amazing because who would have thought that you could have an event with people from the US and people from Israel? Like, no one would have, maybe thought about it, but no one would have come. Like, how do you go on Zoom event? And now everyone goes on Zoom event. So I think you're right. I think this is like someone has bigger plans here.
If I just want to say, that might have been the good that came out of Corona. It really united people from everywhere.
Well, it is. Believe me, it is. It's not might. It is exactly the good.
I know we're wrapping up, but I have to say thank you to you.
Thank you.
For the amazing work that you do. And like without what we're going through, we never would have met you. And so so there's a lot of good happening all the time.
A lot of goods, and the doors are opening. That's what's happening when you're aligned and the doors open. The right people, you meet the right people, you have the right connections, the right synchronicities. That's what it is. Amazing. And Fiona is saying, I would love to know about the Hanukkah event. Our Amuta, Ami Neshima, have a fabulous resource of artists and musicians. Fiona has everything. You can just connect with her. You just ask, and she has all the connections. She's amazing.
All right, we'll definitely connect with you.
We'll be in touch.
Definitely connect. So as soon as we're, Nathalie is one of our stars of Israel. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
For sure.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. Oh, so talking about that, this is also my opportunity, and we're gonna talk about it with the Aliyah Network, to announce the Global Online Leadership Summit for women entrepreneurs, especially women that are abroad and that are thinking of coming with their families to Israel. And you're going to be, Aliyah Network, of course, a guest speaker in this online summit. And I'm going to share more information. Fiona is one of our community ambassadors. So she's also helping us connect with a lot of people so that we can bring really all the, not only information, but inspiration, and making it possible to empower. I believe, and I'm sure Marcy will agree with me, that change comes from women. Sorry, David. Don't feel that. I do believe. Yes. No, stay with us. We need the masculine dimension, because we all have masculine and feminine dimension. But the women and women entrepreneurs are just, leaders. And so we want to empower them. And this is what this Global Online Summit is going to be all about. And we're going to talk more about that, and you're going to be part of it. So it's not a coincidence. This morning I woke up, I said, it's not a coincidence that I'm inviting the Aliyah Network the day that I'm announcing the Global Online Summit, right? There's no coincidence. Exactly. Wow. Proud and privileged to be so, and give back something to you, Nathalie. Fiona, I love you. Thank you so much. So David, Marcy, this was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your inspiration, your vision, everything that you do, all the services that you provide for the people that really need it. I'm sure we're going to hear so much from you. I mean, I'm sure that this is only the beginning, and we're going to watch you, and we're going to re-invite you. Every time there's something happening, we're just going to re-invite you to hear how you're doing, because we're just supporting, your cause and everything that you're doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's really wonderful.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. This is the end of the week. Watch for more information on the Global Online Summit and see you on Sunday morning for the Meditation Sunday. We're going to meditate on all this, right, every Sunday. But before that, have a great weekend. Have a Shabbat Shalom. Take the time to rest. I don't know about you, but here in Jerusalem, it's raining. So it's just going to be a great opportunity to be under, in bed, cocoa or whatever we like to do in the winter. I was so happy to wear a sweater today. I was like, yay, the winter is coming. Right. So amazing. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, David. Have a great day, and we will see you very soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you.